Hey everyone, this is Yara again. I'm going to be covering the last strategy, our digital workshops. So if we go to the next slide, you'll see a brief description on the main objective of these workshops. So we saw a really great opportunity in customizable digital workshops for companies, individuals, or educational institutions that want to further their knowledge in the agriculture industry, but maybe they don't want to commit to a feasibility study at this time, or maybe they want more of an interactive experience with our team. So this is really a good opportunity for you to continue knowledge building in an accessible way, especially during this time. So in the next slide, you'll see who we've created these workshops for. In brief, it's for architecture firms, policymakers, entrepreneurs, investors, educators, and real estate developers. What we've done is divide the workshop offering per group so you can get a better idea of what these workshops consist of. So if you visit our workshop page on our website, you'll see the general outlines on what the workshop can entail, and I'll also briefly go through them now. So yeah, this will give you an idea of the general sessions under our workshop catered to an entrepreneur. So we start with a sort of strategy lecture. This is really a step-by-step approach to determining the best strategy for building out your own urban farming concept. We have an intro to hydroponics included, and that's just a run through of the principles of hydroponics, different growing systems, the components of the growing systems, and the challenges and benefits associated to each. Each of these workshops also include a resource. So in this example, we have an operations management resource, which is essentially a starter kit that includes checklists, sample models, and reports that can help you get started in your own farm. Another resource we have included is a food safety planning tool. So this is essentially just a sample food safety plan that you could use for your operation. And finally, there's also a branding and marketing lecture included, and that's just around tips and tricks for the best ways to market your product, including certain branding methods and how to determine the best strategy for you and your business. So the next slide, um, you know, this workshop is catered for educators as well, and the objective that we have here is figuring out a way that these modules can be integrated within your own urban ag curriculum, within a science class, within an after-school activity. And so the way we imagine doing that is, again, with an intro to urban ag lecture, similar to what I mentioned above, right? An introduction to various growing methods, figuring out what growing method is best for your project. The resource here would be 10 case studies of different urban ag modules around the world, and just a comparison of their business models and best practices and challenges. Ricky mentioned this earlier, but the CUF classes and those lessons that you saw, they will be included here just because we think that would be a really strong tool for educators. And, if you're a teacher, or maybe if you work with a certain educational institution and you think that they might be interested in something like training the trainer or a workshop like that, that is something that we've offered before and something that we can offer here. So just kind of walking through different urban ag modules, figuring out how that can be related to your current lessons. And so the last two categories, we have companies, architecture firms, and associations. So similar to what I mentioned above, we have an intro to urban ag lecture, we have access to the CUF classes, and we have those 10 case studies as a resource. But something that I want to note here, and something that we've been discussing with different firms that we're working with, is that we can add on to these modules as well. So for example, if you're an architecture firm and you have an objective of being more sustainable or wanting to integrate urban ag within your company strategy, we can definitely talk about ways of integrating urban agriculture to your design process. So that's just kind of one example of an add-on that we can work on together. And then the final category in the next slide is for policymakers, real estate developers, and futurists. This, we imagine, would include a lecture around the future of local food systems, so just a presentation on the projection of certain technologies that we see within this field. We also have an intro to local agriculture and ag tech, so that's just an overview of the different growing methods people are using and the alternative sources of nutrition that we project for the future as well. And finally, in this module, we have a scenario planning methodology. This is something that we've actually done before, and this is a pretty popular workshop when we've done it. But in brief, it's a step-by-step process of building out a strategic plan used to assess future trends within a certain field or around a certain topic. And again, we would include a resource in this module as well. So that's kind of it for the workshop section. I think now we can move on into questions.